Hi, I just wanted to put on a quick review of my latest purchases, which are not the skates that you're looking at right here. These are my regular skates. And I wanted to show you these because my new purchase is very different to these. So I normally skate on wood in a rink, so either playing hockey or just coaching roller skating, which is what I do every Saturday. So these are my regular skates. These are Alkali RPI shifts. With a couple of tweaks. I mean, the boots themselves are fantastic. I've had them 2 years, and they were baked when we bought them, so they are exactly shaped around my foot. But what I have done over the last 2 years, I've changed the bearings for Swiss lights from Bones, and also put these amazing Lebeda Addiction wheels, and they are superb. If you're thinking about these for indoor use, they are hard to beat. The grip is fantastic. Manoeuvrability is superb, and combined with those bearings, they're fast as hell. So yeah, these are my hockey skates. Love them a great deal, use them a lot. But I decided I needed to do more skating outside of the rink. I'm 42, I'm not getting any younger, and I certainly could do with improving my stamina. So I decided I wanted to buy some fitness skates because I don't think these are best for out and about. Particularly, there's no way I'd put those wheels outside, they were too much money. So I decided to go a different direction. I've got some rollerblade twisters, which are probably about 8 years old, but the ratchets going across them are worn down, so unfortunately I can't tighten them. So I decided I'd go with something new. Now in the UK, excuse me, we have quite a few kind of key brands like Alkali, like Mission, like Bauer. But in my research, I came across a brand that I think is quite big elsewhere in the world, but there's not too many in the UK, and that is Powerslide. Load of videos on YouTube, which are great, to be fair, really cool videos. Which of course then got me looking at tri-skates, and I decided, you know what, I would try skates. So I decided to go with Powerslide, 3-wheel setup, and I thought I'd go with something interesting, so I went with the 125mm, and I bought, there's the cat, and I bought these, which are the Powerslide Swells 125mm wheels in dark lava. I bought them on Thursday, brought them home on Friday, got to try them for the first time on Saturday. Today is Tuesday. And they are very cool, but I thought I'd give you an overview on some elements of them. First and foremost, when you first look at them when you come out of the box, and there's no two ways about it, those wheels are the dominant feature. If I put them alongside my 80mm wheels, you know, that's a hell of a difference. And it does change the way you skate quite a lot. I'd never tried anything quite like this. In terms of cumulative length, because you've got 4 80mm wheels, so total of 32 centimetres, compared to 3 12.5cm wheels, which gives you a cumulative of 37.5 centimetres. In actuality, taking into account gaps and things, there's not that much difference in the length, to be fair. If I line them up at the front, and then at the back, yes, you know, don't get me wrong, it is longer, but it's literally just a couple of centimetres. It's not such a big deal. But they are quite a different skating experience, I said. So while the length's not that different, the height is very different, because you are comparing that to that, you know, and that's, yeah, you can definitely feel that in your centre of gravity. But the boots themselves, let me tell you about those. So, said 3 125mm wheels. The brake I've just fitted. I'll explain why in a minute. That's to do with also why the graphic's missing off that wheel. First thing I did, if I'm honest, is I also put some tape off my, it's got some tape for that you put around your hockey stick grip, and put that around there just in case there was going to be any steep learning curves, that I wasn't damaging the boot. Boot itself is good quality. I mean, there's a lot of components to it. There are things that here and there, like obviously being able to see the glue. This stitching was broken when I first took them out of the box, but I'm not too concerned, to be honest. It's not such a big deal. I don't think it really holds anything. I think it's just decorative. And you've got 3 ways of securing them to your foot, or 3 tools that you'd use all 3. So you've got the laces at the bottom. It's a nice material, this. It's quite soft. It is. I know there's all these descriptions when you read the trade descriptions. They are kind of like a high-end trainer, and it is, to be fair. It's airy, it's comfortable. You sure as hell wouldn't want to play hockey in them, because if you get hit, you're going to feel it. But the lace comes up to here, so you've got fairly decent grip. It goes all the way up to this. Then you got this Velcro strap going across, which, if I'm honest, the Velcro strap is, it's okay. I'm not sure how much of a purpose it really serves, because it goes across through the loop here, and you've got, you know, kind of your hook bit, and then the fluffy bit here, and it means that you've got this bit in the middle where they meet, which essentially, it's very difficult to get past that point. So if you want to try and tighten them through there, you're not getting past there. So they'll hold your ankle to a certain position, but you can't get much tension beyond that. And the ratchet at the top will go as far as you want. It's on a spring load at this side, so you just put it in, hook it in, and then just pull it tight, which it'll try and do itself anyway. There's loads of padding here. It's soft, and I can see ultimately that will prove to be quite comfortable. The reason I say ultimately is my initial impression is that it's not as comfortable as it could be for me just yet. But and I read some of the, well, there's not many reviews online, but I read some of them, and they did say that people were struggling with the inside ankle, and I'm doing exactly the same. I don't believe my ankle sits especially lower than anybody else's, but it's comfortable around the cuff, it's comfortable the foot area, but my inside ankle, it hurts like hell. And unfortunately, it sits at an area, when you feel around in the padding where it sits about here. And you can feel behind this stitching, there's a plastic, the actual plastic boot comes up here, which means I'm not sure how much that padding is going to give way to make that ankle less painful over time. But I'll find out, and we'll see how it pans out. I may well end up resorting to using an insole just to raise my heel. If I can bring it up with like 3 or 4 millimeters, that might make all the difference. That isn't 3 or 4 millimeters, but that might make all the difference with comfort. But we'll see. At the minute, I have put some a lifter underneath the insole, which incidentally is vented to keep your foot nice and cool. So you've got the said vents through here, but you've also got the vents in the bottom of the boot. You can see there, which then mean that the inside, your insole doesn't get particularly hot either. So yeah, all in all, I think the boot's got real potential to be very comfortable, and it is designed for fitness. At the end of the day, this isn't a trick skate. You can do some stuff in it if you're brave enough, which I was on Saturday. I'm not feeling quite so brave now, because I went out on Sunday and decided to give them a good run on different terrains. So I tried them in the rink on Saturday, and apart from the sore ankle, they were great. You know, I was doing power slides without too much issue. And obviously getting some great speed. That's the one thing about these wheels, that there's no getting around. 125mm wheels are fast. But, excuse me, going out on Sunday morning, I decided to go on some cycle paths, up and down some hills, on some roads. So it's very mixed terrain. The cycle paths are quite smooth tarmac, whereas the roads themselves are quite gravelly. And the wheels, in terms of just generally skating in them, performed fantastically. I had really great grip. However, the power slides, fairly predictably I suppose, really, the power slides were very different on each terrain, as you'd expect. But they weren't quite what I hoped, basically what I hoped they'd be. I assumed that on the cycle paths that were quite tarmacy, they'd grip but not brilliantly. I thought they'd slide a little bit. As it turned out, they slid quite a lot, which I really didn't expect. Whereas on the road, again, I expected them to slip, but nowhere near as much, and sure enough, they didn't slip at all. So yeah, it's a learning curve for me. Less about the skates, more about me. At the end of the day, I'm used to skating those on wood. I know exactly what happens when I do what, because it's predictable, and I've got lots of experience with it. Whereas this was said different. So as a result, on Sunday morning, I managed to fall twice. First time was on a road, so I managed to take, you can see that, take some skin off my arm, and about 3 times as much off my back. I've got plenty of bruises back there. And then once I recovered from that, I then managed to, as I said, on the cycle path, a little bit slippy, managed to slip on a cycle path and twisted my knee. So I'm now, after spending a few hours in the emergency department, or A&E as we call it in the UK, I'm now walking around with crutches, which was not the plan, but I'm sure I'll be fine. I'll be back on these in a couple of weeks, because I am determined to tame them. It hasn't put me off, it's just made me realise I need to go back to the drawing board a bit, don't make so many assumptions, and try a bit harder. And it also made me realise that for the first time in 20 years, I've had to fit a brake on a pair of skates, which is, it's I'm sure my pride can take it, but it's, yeah, I would suggest, if you're new to these kind of skates, however long you've been skating, I've been skating about 30 years, until you crack the brakes, and if you're going to go on terrain where perhaps you've got hills and potentially traffic, be it cars, bikes, other people, then I would suggest it's probably worth putting the brake on, even if just for a little while, just till you get the hang of it. Yeah, so that's about it. So I'll put on some videos at a later date once I've got my once I've got movement back in my knee, about actually using them. But first impression, they look fantastic. The dark lava and the black is a superb combination. It's a very cool looking skate. For fitness, I would imagine, I don't know, part of me thinks maybe I'd have been better, that's the cat again, Part of me thinks I'd have been better maybe going with the 100mm or the 110mm, but I decided if I was going to do it, I'd jump in right at the deep end, and I'm glad I did, to be fair. But yeah, it's going to take some re-education. If you've got any questions on these, then by all means give me a shout. I'll be happy to answer them for you. The only last one, which was the question I had, which I struggled to find an answer I was happy with online, was sizing. So I am a UK size 10.5, 11. And so I decided to choose the size 11 skate when I was buying. These are, so that's the Euro 46, and they're a really good fit for that. People talk about these being quite narrow. I don't have a narrow or fat foot, it's fairly regular, and I found these to be really, really comfortable. Lengthwise, if anything, they're a little bit long. Widthwise, they're spot on. I said it's just all about that ankle, which I'm hoping will get better over time. But yeah, size-wise, they're pretty true to UK size in terms of when it says, if you're a 10.5, 11 shoe, then go with the 46, you'll find it spot on. But if you're a size 10, then don't panic and oversize. The 45s, I'm guessing, I don't really know, Euro sizes too well, would be perfect for you. That's it. Hope that's useful. If you got any questions, give us a shout, and I will post videos at some point in the future of what to do with them. If you're interested, by the way, in the meantime, see, I've got my GoPro mount on my hockey skates. One of my other videos is a skate view with the GoPro, just going around at one of the discos, and yeah, it was good fun. But maybe I'll do something similar with these. But yes, very different offering. As soon as I'm off these crutches, looking forward to having another go. Take care. Bye bye.